My name's Borong Caroline Verbe. I will be talking to us today on the topic personal development. I want to recognize the presence of the Jewish house, our teachers, and I say good evening to all. I'll first of all explain to us. We'll be talking on. We are going to first of all. We're going to first of all talk on the definition of personal development. We will also see why must I grow as a leader. We will talk on what growth is, and of course, conclusion. Personal development is a long process of self-improvement that involves assessing yourself, your skill and quality, your life goals, aligning them to execute purpose. In other words, personal development is the ability to identify and learn or acquire knowledge in different areas of life that will impact your own life positively and keep you relevant always. Growth is the effort that you need to bring the best out of you. Personal growth can help you in all aspects of life. Why must I grow as a leader? Anything you don't know, you will suffer for it. In every area of life where you are suffering, you need knowledge. As a leader, we need to grow ourselves. What is growth? Growth is the effort that you make to bring the best out of you. As leaders, we need to grow. As Hosea chapter 4, verse 6 makes it very clear that my people perish because of lack of knowledge. This means that anything you do not know, you suffer for it. As such, we need knowledge about spirituality. We need knowledge on finance. We need knowledge. We need knowledge on relationship and in every other area of our life. Growth is the guarantee of tomorrow. Growth is the guarantee that our tomorrow will be better. We can't grow if we don't learn. We need to keep chasing knowledge. We need to keep developing ourselves for the better future. Growth means change, and change is difficult. Things will not change for you if you are not ready to change. This growth, which means change, growth change. I want to talk about it in as an example. I want to take myself as an example. When we learn that growth is change, and change is difficult. I saw myself in this particular topic, personal development, because where I am today is because of lack of I have not been growing as a person. Because why do I say that growth as a change is a problem to me? Because I would have changed from where I am to something else, but I'm not growing in any way. I'm not growing. I have refused to learn. I have refused to unlearn, and I have refused to relearn. For instance, when telephone Androids came into existence, we were first using Choronkos. And in fact, all my colleagues in the market, they bought it. It's not like I didn't have money. I simply refused to unlearn Choronko and relearn Android. And that is the reason why I am where I am, because I always refuse learning new things and then forgetting the old things. The keys of the element of growth, we have the big picture, which of course, we do not need to focus in any, with the big picture, I need to know where I have to focus in my growth. The area which I need to grow, what I need to do, who should I ask for help? Whom should I ask for help? What type of studies should I go for? For example, if as the definition of personal development has already said, it is the ability. It is the ability, as we already heard, that personal development is the ability to identify. It means that when you identify what you're good at, when you identify the purpose for your being, you have to work now on your growth in proportion to that. For instance, if I was to be a journalist, for instance, I will now know that I will need a teacher to teach me in English. I will need a teacher to teach me in French, so that I will perfect in the both languages. Or otherwise, I'll have to go to a school of journalism so that I can perfect myself in there to be good in what I will be doing. We also have to know, who should I ask for help? It must be strategic to grow. It must be strategic for growth to maximize. We should be able to measure and set goals for our lives. Give time. We need to give time to ourselves, the length of time for your measurement. Maybe it will be 2 months, maybe 3 months, but we should give time to ourselves, so that after that length of time, you will check to see if you are doing the right thing, if you are really on the line. Consistency. How can I grow daily? Successful people do the things. What successful people do daily, unsuccessful people do it the same thing occasionally. And that is the reason why we see the book of Proverbs. The book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 15, tells us that intelligent people, they are eager to learn. Despite the fact that they are already intelligent, they still keep on learning. learning because they want to improve themselves. They want to grow. They want to have knowledge. They want to be perfect. They want to be perfect in what they are doing. To conclude, I want to say that how I intend to apply this topic, personal development, in my personal life, in my marriage, family, or ministry, from our daily lives, we can understand that so many people are just like me. They have not been growing themselves. They do not even have the knowledge that they need to grow themselves. And as such, there are some wives out there who, for one reason or the other, cannot even cook food in their house, for example. Because when they were growing up as children, they were opportune to be of a rich family, and the father and mother, they look for them house help left and right, and they were thinking that they love them so very much, but instead they were killing them small. They were killing them as time goes by. In a situation like that one, as a counselor, we need to teach those wives that do not even know how to do, for example, cooking. We need to teach them to go learn cooking so that they will look for house help who will help them today, help them tomorrow, and finally help them in their rooms. The knowledge that I have gotten from this personal development, I tell you today, if I have had this before, I would not have been where I am today. So much, I have learned so much. And I want to conclude by thanking our mother who accepted the calling of the Lord to teach us. The next citizens. Hello. Anyone can kick everyone out. Hello.
Hello, Mama Carol. The network was breaking.
Our network was breaking. We are not getting.
Yes, at the end, we lost.
I even changed the position. Asked if they were getting me before I started.
No, it's just at the end. It just break. I lost hold of the network at the end.
So what should I do it again?
The network is only at the level where you are appreciating Monica, the visionary of this program. So if you are still you can pick from where you ended on that conclusion.
Are you getting me already well now?
Yes, yes. 5 on 5.
Okay, I was appreciating our mama who accepted the call of the Lord with women to help us, to help us, to help us, to work out that which is in us, so that we can help those that are in need. That's what I was hoping to say. And I will end up by saying that growth should be our number one priority, because it is what you have that you can give out. Thank you. Are you hearing me?
Okay, Pastor Mirabel is Pastor Mirabel still there? Let her take over.
Papi, you are there now. I'm there.
Yeah, I just came. Good evening, everyone. I just came. I had some issues, light issues in the house, so I had to come to church to be able to have light.
Right.
So thank God for the presentation. Thank you for the excellent work. Now I want to come back to you. This the presentation I'm doing is not essentially for you to teach us. Is not essentially to educate us. It's essentially for you to bring out what is in you. So I were to ask you in few words, what are the things that you must do to maximize growth personally in your life? And how have you been doing that since you got this course? Madam Boron, Caroline, can you get me?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, I'm getting you.
Okay, please, can you ask the question now?
I was saying, what are some ways that you learned that can help you to maximize growth? And how have you been applying that? How, from the time that you learned this lesson, how have you been trying to apply that to your life, to your personal life?
Is the fact that
Is she there?
trying. Hello.
Yes, I'm getting you now.
Yes, to maximize growth. I have been trying to work on my finances. I have been trying to work on my finance, and again, I've been trying to work in my personal.
Okay, let me rephrase it again for you. In your presentation, you cited something. that what successful people do daily, unsuccessful people do it occasionally. What does that mean to you as far as maximizing growth is concerned?
It simply means to me that
Okay.
it means that
I wish I was seeing your face.
there is no light here.
Oh, I see.
I mean,
It's well. It's well. So,
as I was explaining, as I was trying to let you know what successful people do daily, unsuccessful people do it occasionally. For example, improving in our lives, or growing in our lives. Unsuccessful people, they don't study to grow. I have also been complaining that I'm not having an increase in my finances. Meanwhile, I have been doing the same thing over and over again for many years. I have not made an effort to study one or two things to improve that particular business. Meanwhile, people with whom I study, they are already far because they are working on their growth. They are growing themselves in a particular line in order to reach at the maximum. But me, I am on the same spot repeating the day in, day out, yet I complain there is no increase.
okay, let me help you out. In the class, we learned that growth must be intentional. Growth must be measurable. That's what you cited, that should be measured over time. Now, the statement that what successfully people do daily, unsuccessful people do it occasionally. What it just means is it's not just making a decision by being intentional to improve a certain area of your life, to develop a certain area of your life, but you must be consistent. You must do it daily. And to measure the growth, you will measure the growth over time. If you try to measure it only, say, monthly, you may not have the changes that you require fast in your business. But sometimes the growth or the changes that you are expecting may come after 5 months or after 1 year. So if you are thinking that you will have the changes immediately, say in 1 week or in 1 month, you may be frustrated that others are having changes and you are not having. You may give up that other you are doing, and then over the years not. So what you have to look at as far as your business is, you have to be consistent and do it daily. Do it daily. Do something daily, consistently, daily. Let me give you an example. There are people that go for business. They have businesses, but nothing is as if they are not having customers, but they keep on going every day. For after some time, people will now notice that this girl is always here, and sometimes your customers will not come from near, from close to you. Customers will come even from far. So it's not just about starting a business, but being committed to that and doing it daily. Whether customers come or they don't come, you are there. You are committed to it. So building customers, it takes time. Growth also takes time. That's what we are talking about. So, but you must be intentional. I just wanted to know if you understood that statement. What successful people do daily, unsuccessful people do it occasionally. Let me give you another insight. There are people, many of the people that you know today that are rich, many of them were past them. Many of them, they were already labeled failures. The story about the man that invented light, electricity light, he tried it 99 times and only succeeded, number one, the last time. And when he was asked, why is it that you could not stop? He said he never considered himself a failure. Each time he failed, he only realized that God was teaching him the different ways of doing that thing. So he was consistent at it. Okay, did you get that right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
I got it.
Yes, because don't just start a business and expect that it will change automatically. Frustrated. Anything that you start, it starts small, but you must be consistent at doing some practical things. Then with time now, you will now measure your growth over time. So that's what we're talking about, the practical application relating it to your life. And thank God you were able to relate that to your finances and relate that and bring in this aspect of your business.
Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of business are you doing? Network. I can't get you.
She sells baby dresses, Papa D.
Okay. So one of the things you need to do is study the market. If you sell babies dresses, many people that sells baby dresses, I realize that they position their market around a hospital. So there are a lot of things that you will study. So that when you will be doing something consistently, and then maybe you don't see why the results are not coming, there are other factors. So when you do that, don't be frustrated that maybe results are not coming. You have to stick to it. You have to be consistent about it. Okay. Let me hear. Maybe somebody has something to add or ask a question. Ask her a question on our presentation.
Okay. Yes, please.
Yes. Go ahead and ask your question.
My question is, how can I manage now that I know that I need to be consistent, I need to grow in particular areas, and I realize that I have many areas I've identified that I need to have a mastery to see change. And the actions that I want to take are too many, and I feel overwhelmed. How do I go about it?
Okay. Maybe somebody has an answer before I say something. Okay, let the person, Madame Boron Caroline, can you answer? Okay, it seems you didn't get the question. Okay.
The network is getting you.
The network is breaking.
Yes, Papa.
Okay.
Yes, Papa,
We said-
to
Yes.
attempt, I'm saying I'm just attempting to answer a question. I think that in everything we have a list of preference. And so when we are overwhelmed and choked up with which one to pick, we go by our list of preference. I think it's going to help us better.
Okay. Now, the next thing that let me say something. In her presentation, in your presentation, you said, she said, you must identify the area where you want to develop yourself. You must identify who you need. Where that there we are talking about mentors or coaches. A mentor in a particular area where you need a mentor. The mentor will facilitate and help you. Two, you must identify one thing. Successful people are good at one thing. Successful people are good at one thing. You cannot be a jack of all trades and master of none. It's possible when you are a jack of all trades, you'll be master of none. So you must identify one thing that is like your passion. That's what Madame Laura was talking about, scale of preference. You must identify that particular passion. You can have a lot of things, but scale them. Have a scale of preference. Which one can be priority? And the priority here is your passion. And your passion is directly related to your purpose. I remember in the class, our coach said that over the years, she was doing a lot of things. She was into business. She was into mentoring women. She was into this, prayer, this, or a lot of things, preaching. But it's over the last 2 years when she began to do this personal development stuff and take it serious that she began to discover herself. So the first thing is discover yourself. Seek to discover yourself. The real you is your passion. Develop that area. All the other areas will begin to fall. That there will be like auxiliaries. When we study commerce in secondary school, they taught us something like auxiliary to trade, transport, distribution, all of that. They said they are auxiliaries to trade. So there are things that is the main thing, and the other things can accompany. So that is what I think I can give to your response. Did I help you a bit, glorious lady?
Yes, you did, Pastor. Thank you.
Okay. All right, without wasting time, we are going to listen to the next presenter. Who is ready? Let me see who is ready. I think Madame Laura Marlene is ready to teach us tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Can we welcome her?
Can I start?
Yes, yes.
All right. I want to personally greet our wonderful coaches for the great job they're doing and our aspiring counselors. I'm sorry for yesterday. I had to present yesterday, but things that we can't stop, we have control over are bound to happen. So they just took me. So I'm sorry for that. Mrs. Marlene, married, mother of nations. I'll be presenting on the topic personal development. Amen. And I will start by giving a definition of personal development according to our coach. And what I think to my own view is personal development, a background of my little way I've developed over time and some other aspect that will be coming, and then conclusion. I'll be defining personal development tonight according to our coach, Mama Defin. She defines it as the ability to identify and learn in the areas of lack. Then I added mine that it is the ability to understand your biography, accept it, love it, and work on it. When I talk about biography, I mean your background, where you are coming from, your occurrence, your happenings, and desiring to go above that or beyond that. And so my reasons for choosing personal development is this. As an aspiring counselor, I know I'll be meeting a lot of people. And so to meet people, it therefore means I need to start working on myself, my own personal development. So I took it personally upon myself that I need to start improving myself. That is what pushed me to choose personal development, because I realized that I have to help myself in order to help others, accepting who I am, where I am coming from, and loving it, loving everything about it, because we can't improve or work on what we don't love. For that reason, if you can't improve, you can only improve on what you love. And so you can give people that which you have improved upon. Personal development to growth, I want to say, is a journey. And I realized that I started this journey since so many years ago. But I didn't know it was personal development until I met my mom, our coach, a mentor. And so she taught me of intentionality. It's not all about developing, but be intentional. I was just developing. I knew that I've been going through a development, but I was just doing it. For example, I come from a background whereby I think it's my grandmother left her marriage, and so our parents, especially the girl children, they went to marriage with either pregnancy or with children, or they have left some in the house. And so when we grew up, I realized that it was repeating itself amongst us. And so when I look at this, I look at my mother's life, I look at my sister, I look at my cousin's life, I say, no, this is not going to repeat itself with me. I'm going to do everything to come out of this circle, because at times, in order to develop yourself, we have to break out of some circles, out of some yokes. And so I took upon myself a decision. I never knew that was a development or developing process. And there was another thing too. Among my siblings, we are 10 of us. I realized that none of them went to school, but all of them had children. And so I began wondering, what is happening here? Whatever it takes, I have to go to. I took upon myself that decision that I have to go to school. So when I took upon myself that decision, I started going to an evening school. It was not even a day school. And so going to school, I improved myself, and years passes by, I didn't have interest on men, not talking of them impregnating me and me having children before time. And so developing myself, going to school, by the grace of God, I was the first person also who received Christ. Personal development. You see, light came into my life. So there were many things that changed. And God helped me with a decision I took. I went through it and I break out of that bondage. I realized that at times, personal development, we need to break. There are times you need to break out of bondage in order to develop yourself. And behold, I got married with an HND in my pocket. I didn't get I was not pregnant in my house or gave birth to any child in the house. My husband took me brand new, and it was all joy in my family. The whole village came out that they have not seen this in this compound. This is the first of it. So it's when I came across my mommy that I realized that was personal development, but I didn't know it. It's only when I met her that she opened my eyes. I said, so really, this is it. I developed myself and I made a difference. I stand myself. And so I grew gradually. I grew gradually from that. And personal development, I want to admit that it is two sides. It is spiritual and physical. They both must balance. Because when we carry just one alone, one will be lacking. We'll be lacking somewhere. Spiritually, when we have to develop ourselves. We must learn the word of God, to be close to God, to have a personal relationship with God, and above all, be led by the Holy Spirit. I think that is what helped me along my developing process, because I encountered the light and the Holy Spirit helped me so I could do the right prayers. Because at times we have challenges in our marriages just because we have refused to develop in some areas. And physically, it's all about what we can see, touch, the things we have power over to say yes or no. And so this led me to a story of a woman in the Bible that I admire so much. Esther. When we read the book of Esther, sorry, please, let me get my Bible. When we read the book of Esther, sorry for taking some time. Please pardon me. When we read the book of Esther, chapter 5, I'm not yet there. I'll be there shortly. Sorry for the time take. It's my book. Esther, where are you? Okay, I'm there. When we read the book of Esther, chapter 5, verse 1, the Bible says, on the third day, Esther put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court of the palace in front of the king's hall. The king was sitting on his royal throne in the hall facing the entrance. When he saw Queen Esther standing in the court, he was pleased with her and held out to her the gold scepter that was in his hand. So Esther approached and touched the tip of the scepter. The story of Esther interests me a lot because this is Esther coming from a nowhere background. And by the grace of God, she found favor before God and before man. She's now the queen in the palace, coming from a nowhere background. Esther could have just entered the palace and just began praying, just only praying. But at one point, Esther understood that she needed to develop herself to be stood in that position of the queen. And so she developed herself. When a situation arises, we see what Esther did. Esther could have just fasted, and said, okay, it's done. I'm done with this fasting, so the case is done. I'm just going to the king to go and present my fasting, because I've fasted in the spirit, I've already conquered the situation. But look at what Esther did. He didn't go before the king in a shabby way. The Bible says Esther put on her royal robe. Hallelujah. That is personal development. That is what Esther was not doing in the past. But because she entered the palace, she knew that in order for her to meet up to this standard, she has to develop herself. So the story of Esther made me to understand that personal development is both spiritual and physical. Esther prayed, and she did not end there. After fasting, before approaching, she did her bath. She had a good perfume on her, a good robe on her. So therefore means, in as much as my spiritual is up there, I need to balance it up with my physical. So personal development, balance it up with our physical. So her mental development was up to the standard of the palace, that she knew that after praying, I should not just be shabby. Physically, I should be beautiful as in spirit, as I'm just done from praying. And the Bible says she found favor before the king. Had it been she had not appeared before the king as such, if she has fasted, she wouldn't have found that favor. The king was first to her physical appearance. So I want to leave the story of Esther that way. So coming back on my own personal development, what caught me up during our class, I decided to take this personal development growth, is that is linked. They are linked. It's not directly under personal development, but they are all linked because they are under development process. It's emotional idolatry. This is what I learned, I unlearned, and I relearned during our classes of personal development growth. I used to be that kind that when you hurt me, I'm not going to be rude, but I'm just going to keep it in my mind. Are we together? Hello.
Oh, yes. We are together.
I just want to be assured that the network is not leaving. In fact, I'm not going alone. And so I realized that I used to be that kind that will not be rude, but you just heard me, I'll keep it in my mind. And then I'll build some apartment in my mind and make rooms of all kinds of strategies, waiting for an opportunity to break it back. Then I'll stay in that spot, in package strategies in those rooms. And you'll see my head, at one point, I'll have severe headache because I've built an apartment in my mind and have rooms inside that I've thought strategies of how to back this thing. How should I back this thing to this person? I never knew it was emotional idolatry. I knew that idol worshiping was money, was statue, and all of that. But I want to bless God for these classes. I want to bless God for our spiritual mother because I came out of another bondage because I ended up realizing that I was just worshiping evil thoughts that I could not gain. It was not beneficial to me. It was not adding any plus to my life, but rather reduced me because I ended up at times with headache, with stress. And then you see me drinking a lot of water. I'm somebody that don't like drinking water. But when it occurs like that, you see me just drinking water carelessly because I want the headache to run down. So it was along that I realized that I've been worshiping idolatry. In fact, evil thoughts, mounting them, keeping them, worshiping them. I was not growing in that area because every time I keep it, I keep pondering upon it. And when I pondered upon it, the hurts come back. And so how do I know that or knows that I've gone beyond that? During these classes, I had a situation that the way I handled it, I knew that no level don't pass level. Now, this was really a walk, a growth towards my development part because the way I handled the situation maturely, I didn't give room for it to be pounding and giving me headache. I mean, the thing like this thing I'm keeping in my head is not giving that flow. So why should I be keeping it?
Network don't take her off.
Are you still there?
That is the error that really destroyed me. When I was I grow and pass over. So I said, no, this one has touched me. It means my personal development growth is working. I want to conclude by saying that personal development it's a journey. It should be a journey undertaken to grow. If personal development does not involve personal growth, then its aim has not been achieved. The aim of personal development is only achieved when growth is involved. How can we grow? We can grow through reading our Bible, interacting with people, like our spiritual, like the milieu where we are now, it's a milieu that is helping us to grow. Breaking from certain circles, watching things that can help us to grow, involving in discussion that can help us grow. We all grow different methods and prefer different things, different way of growing. But all to resume end that we are intentional, and the end should be growth, life-changing. I would like to stop here to say thank you very much for listening. That is my personal development growth presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, thank you for your presentation. I will describe your presentation as your growth process, personal development and growth process. Now, let me ask you a question. The case of Esther that you just cited, the parents of Esther died, and Esther had to grow better with the uncle. And then the situation in which Esther had to be in this competition was a high competition. Imagine a competition like Miss Cameroon. Take for example, or relate the case of Esther to a girl that is about to get married. Now, the girl is just leaving from the village. The girl just left the village. The girl has never been to secondary school. But she's beautiful, and somebody wants to get married to the girl. The person that wants to get married to the girl is like a university professor, somebody that has PhD or master's degree, very rich and high class somebody. What are the practical ways that you can counsel this person in the area of personal development?
I think with the case of Esther, the plus that Esther had is that she was coming from a God-fearing background. And so she already had that foundation of the Holy Spirit to help her. And so from this case that you have just cited, I think everything is possible when we are ready to learn. If the girl is ready to learn, because at one point we can't force people to develop. It's a free will and a free sacrifice. So the first is to give in her consent to learn. She gives in her consent to learn. And then we will start from if actually she doesn't have any spiritual background, then we are going to start from it, because God is the founder of all foundation. We don't start with God, and then the foundation of our marriage will not be solid. And understanding the foundation of God will only help her to grow very fast in her naive state and at different class level of the different class level that she has just find herself into it. And so it will first start from her accepting to learn.
Okay, let me say something. In the case of Esther, the same like the case of any school dropout, somebody that grew up in a village, has never been exposed to town life, but beautiful, and meet somebody of a high class. One of the first problems that person can have is low self-esteem. Low self-esteem. But in the case of Esther, Esther was bold. Why was Esther bold? You realize that from this case, Esther had a mentor. And the mentor of Esther was the uncle.
The uncle, yes.
Mordecai. And Mordecai personally prepared Esther for that contest. So this is what we are talking about. You are being trained as a counselor, as a coach, so that you can be able to carry people along. Take for example, your testimony that you just gave about, from your background. When you are talking, I saw a kind of background of also patterns, a kind of pattern. So the reason I'm asking this question is, you see, I'm bringing in the aspect of self, because in your presentation you have touched on different courses, different courses. Yeah. So so this is the essence of this school. It's not really for you to just have knowledge, but be able to practically approach. It's not about information, but readily be able to relate those concepts directly to your life. Let me give you an example. The reason why our presentation has been long, because you have a lot of things, and you are trying to say a lot of things at the same time. Let me relate that to the presentation of Mabia. Mabia pick on the definition of marriage. Mabia defined marriage, gave a background of marriage, which was good, and could not maybe have been necessary. But from there, she went straight to the point, which is still good. But what we are talking here now is the essence of all this exercise is for you to relate that personally to your life. Let me go back to the to what I wrote in the group after the presentations of yesterday. Can somebody see what I wrote after the presentation of yesterday? Some things that I wrote there. So that it will help us. Yes.
Great presentation and coordination tonight. Excellence, mastery of the concept.
Good.
Passion, delivery, practical application.
Let me show you. I said excellent mastery of the concept, which all of you have been doing very great. Two, I talk about passionate delivery. Passionate delivery. The way you deliver, and then I see the passion in which you are delivering, tells me whether it is your identify your purpose. Then practical application of the subject matter. So those are the things that we're looking at. But the reason for those things is not for you to have a score. We just want to know that, yes, this course has really entered, you are really in class, you are really all of that. So we want to thank God for all the presentation. You are amazing and powerful. Let me hear somebody ask maybe a personal question. Somebody has a question to ask her on her presentation. Since I think the first presenter was also about personal development, so you took another angle, which is also very good. Let's hear somebody has a question. Any question? Okay. If there is no question, I want to thank God for that powerful presentation. You really kind of brought in different concepts and apply it personally in your life, and which is what we are really looking up to want to see that mastery of those concepts, want to do those personal application and the personal delivery. Thank you. Let's have our next presenter. Our next presenter should be the glorious
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Laura.
Good evening.
My topic for presentation to this evening is managing stress, maintaining positive in first of all, let us understand the topic is talking about managing stress in maintaining positive outlook. It means I want to look at it like our focus is on how to maintain a positive outlook in marriage. And we know from our topic that the way to maintain that outlook is by managing stress. That is what causes maintenance of outlook in marriage, of the positive outlook, what God intended it to be, that is being challenged. Just to say that marriage, we can look at marriage.
The line is breaking. Is somebody getting her?
No, Papa.
Nobody is getting how it's happening. Sorry for that network messing of time. Network, please come back. Can she change her position?
Oh, Jehovah.
Okay, let her change her position. But while she's changing her position, let me say that just let nobody be under stress. Just feel free so that you just say what you can say. The essence of this is not even for you to read. You should be able to talk, because it is a learning process. It's a learning process. I remember yesterday when Mabia was presenting on patterns. Pastor Mirabe brought in one powerful point about how to break out from this thing, from pattern. One of the points that he said is self-awareness. Self-awareness, knowledge about what is going on. Then you are personally intentional and conscious that this is a problem. It makes you to better look at it. So this process is a process of learning for all of us. Because while you are presenting, there are some things that when you apply them personally, other students will learn how they can go about it. So I don't want anybody, don't be under stress, because if it's like a defense, like in a university, like what they do in a university, we will all be where we'll be seeing your face. And then I will not even be smiling here. I will be twisting my face to frighten you. So just yes, just let the best come out of you. Just talk. We want to just hear whether you were really, this lesson really went through you. That's the essence of this exercise.
Okay, Papa D, I don't see myself getting stressed over this because I am the one who chose the topic, and I chose it because it has relevance to me as an individual. And in my presentation, I wanted us to have that base. And we're talking about marriage as a union between two persons legally recognized, and which means that there is some kind of commitment at the beginning. I call it commitment because there is no one that in this. I'm not thinking that forced another onto the other. They mutually accepted to be together. And in marriage, there are expectations. When two people come together, there is that expectation. And expectation here, knowing that marriage is an institution from God, there are expectations from the spiritual realm, and God is expecting the man, like we read during our class, we read from the book of Genesis. God is expecting the man to leave his father, mother, and cleave to his wife. God is expecting the spouses to be accountable. In fact, the spouses are expecting each other. The man is expecting the woman to be accountable, to love, to be truthful, to keep their promises, to be forgiving. But the problem comes when these are not respected. When somebody realizes that the other is not accountable, stress starts kicking in. And one major thing that threatens this is the fact that I'm talking on the origin of stress. These expectations, when they are not met, it causes stress. And then whenever someone is doing that, being accountable, is loving, is caring, is submissive, is respectful, he's expecting something from the other side. He's expecting a kind of reciprocity. And when this is not met, there is also stress. And sometimes stress comes from the fact that there are new things that come into the marriage. For example, the couple are just two of them. When a child comes in, the intentional involvement of the third party is going to go. There is bound to be stress. And what are the things, the things that are evident that we can know that there is already stress? We will realize that sometimes the relationship is strained. We could realize that maybe in our relationship, one part there is withdrawal from each other. That warmth is not there. It's an indicator that there is stress. We could realize that maybe another party is already raising the voice on the other one. And sometimes we realize that they even go physical, some fighting. Those are indicators of stress. And what we are supposed to know deep within us is that there is no relationship that does not have challenges. All relationships have challenges. And therefore, instead of getting negative, our encouragement would be for us to look at those challenges that come as an opportunity for us to know each other better. And therefore, we are saying that each partner has to choose on how to manage stress. And from our class, we learned that managing stress is an intentional task. It is deliberate. It means that one person or the spouses decide intentionally that they are going to put in efforts to sustain the positivity. And from our discussions, the lesson that we are carrying home is that for my marriage to stay positive and have a positive outlook, I must engage in commitment. So we established in our class that commitment is the secret of a successful marriage. That commitment is, we could describe commitment as being the backbone of a successful marriage. And when we say backbone, we want to have that image of what a backbone is to the body. When there is no backbone, there is loss of stability. And then another thing that we're supposed to note that will constitute our anchor is that scriptures say that what God has put together, let no man put asunder. And now we establish that since commitment is something that is intentional, it is therefore requiring the giving in, intentional giving in, surrendering our rights, surrendering some of our pleasures in order to have things remain positive in our relationship. And there are two levels of commitment that we learned in our class. That's commitment to God and commitment to our spouse. And we're encouraged to know and to believe within us that the first and the priority in commitment should be given to God. And we establish that when we are committed to God, committed to his word, committed to pleasing God, committed to prayer, committed to seeing the kingdom of God progress, it will help us to stand firm and not be moved by the challenges of life, will not be moved by the changes that are bound to happen, because change is something that is permanent. And which means that change in our marriage is part of it. There will be changes by the days. Sometimes the changes are pleasant, sometimes the changes are not pleasant ones. And for us to be able to continue being in marriage and not only enduring, but continuously keeping that positive outlook, we have to remain intentional in connecting out to our source, that is God, so that we will be able to go through the changes that take place. So the next level of commitment is commitment to our spouse. And we saw there that in marriage, we'll go through pain, struggles, but we are expected to stay faithful. We are expected to stay loyal. We are expected to stay trustworthy. We are expected to stay. We are supposed to be committed to being united. And now we underline there that our ability to stay constant despite the changes is coming from our ability to commit to God. And we really dwelled on this issue of commitment, and we saw that commitment comes from trust, and trust is also dependent on our ability to earn it. In fact, trust is earned. It means that when I stay consistent in what I am doing, I am always what I am supposed to be. It encourages the other person to trust. And when there is trust, it comes back. It is like and I'll call it an effect like a give and take. When there's that commitment, it will fuel back when there is trust, it fuels commitment too. Now there are what I would call implications to commitment. When we are committing ourselves, we are committing ourselves to be mocked. We are committing ourselves to sometimes expose. Sometimes we are, in fact, committing ourselves means that we are committing ourselves to lose our rights that we will intentionally give out so that things can go better. So we cannot conquer what we are not willing to commit. We must pay the price. If our marriages must stay in the positive footpath, we have to pay the price, and that price is commitment. And there are advantages too to commitment. It's not only things that pain. When it's commitment, we are open to get strategies. When there are challenges and we are in the mindset of commitment, we are open and we easily devise means to make things work. And commitment brings about security in our marriages. Commitment helps our spouses and it helps us to be unshakable, to be unmovable. And commitment enhances to obedience to God, the one who instituted marriage. And commitment helps us to realize our dreams. So in this stress management, we realize that stress management in marriage rests on a foundation called commitments. And like I was saying, this topic of commitment resonates so much with me because if I am still married today, it is thanks to commitment that I told myself at one time that this thing must work. And I have also realized that in my husband's part, there are some things that he committed. And when I look at it, I say that this can only be commitment. Even if he never did this, I will not be where I am. And he too would say, if I did not stand on this, things would have not gone the way they have gone. So commitment is something that we cannot talk about marriage and keep aside. Commitment is the opposite of being casual. Being casual will, in any relationship, when we are casual, we will be expecting, we keep on expecting from the relationship and never showing anything. We are expecting so much, like we see in many relationships that we have today. Relationships, maybe even Christian church relationships, people are just casual. They are expecting, they get into the church and they are looking for a committed man of God who will help them, but they are committed to giving nothing. Just like we see many marriages breaking today, people want things to work, but they don't want to surrender anything. They don't want to surrender their pleasures. They just want to be there and then see things working like magic, but it doesn't work like that in relationships. I think I can land here. I hope that we heard me clearly.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Okay. Let me hear others ask questions.
The way Mabia is just cold today in this class. Mabia, please say something.
My people should go on or up.
Emma, you are too spiritual this evening. You are not counselor like. Okay. Adi, over to you. I just wanted to relax the atmosphere.
Please
Yeah,
let me ask a small question.
let me ask a question. Our coach posted something on this in our WhatsApp group. She said there are battles you cannot fight out of them.
You
There are
can
some
grow.
battles that only grow out of those battles. And so you see, he's talking about growth. He's talking about capacity. So one of the reasons why people easily give up on marriages or on some marriages, because there are cases where God will tell you that, no, my sister, my daughter, run. This thing is better to go to heaven non-married than to go to hell marriage. So now, but when you don't develop yourself, you don't build capacity, you don't follow these premarital counseling things that we have been talking about, you easily give up because from the beginning you were not prepared mentally. So we talk about mental commitment. A lot of things you give up just because they never prepared you that you need to pay some price. It's a sacrifice. There is no commitment without sacrifice. The Bible says in season and out of season. And that's why we brought the issue of in marriage, they tell you that for better, for worse. We brought the issue of Ruth. Ruth saying, where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. My people shall be your people. She was ready to die with Naomi. So it's just a kind of highlight. But your presentation is powerful, is passionate, and thank God for that. Let me hear Marlene Laura. It's like she has something to say.
Papa, I wanted to ask her a question. How can she help a newly wedded to overcome stress who doesn't know anything about commitment?
Yes. The glorious lady, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. How can you, a newly wedded couple who does not know anything about commitment?
Okay.
To overcome stress, how can you help them?
Already, the newly wed couple have gone through much and might not have gotten to a point where they are feeling that thing has to commit if they never knew at the beginning. However, their resolution to come together is commitment. Now, if I am talking to them, I'll be stressing on the issue of being reciprocal and being able to keep on communicating. Because at the beginning of the relationship, in fact, it's all joy. People are excited that finally here we are. When things, the realities of things start, when people are now seeing that white, that it is the white that they are seeing is not the pure white, it is cream white. They start seeing things, reality, that sets in. So the first schooling that I will be giving them will be to develop their relationship with God. When if I get in contact with the couple, I'll be like, check their salvation testimony, check the knowledge they have with God, their level of commitment to God, so that when they are rooted deeply in God, already they have the advantage that they're together, and if all of them are interested in getting committed to God, the ride will really will be a better one for them. So I'll work on helping them, discipling them to know who God is, and above all, to know that there is something above marriage. This marriage is going to end here, but pleasing God is priority. I hope that I touched.
Thank you, glorious ladies. That my communication is coming and going.
Okay.
But yes, the one I heard. But I know Papa do hammer it. Thank you very much for the response. So let's push. Some kind of.
Somebody has something else to say. I think she has just kind of given some steps as a counselor. What is expected of her? First of all, drawing them to be committed to God, and then necessarily or definitely you have to tell them about the things that they were supposed to have learned in their premarital counseling. We start from there, because when they get it right, the foundation, then they will be able to stand. Because one of the things that we must already prepare the mind of people is that there is no marriage without problem. There is no marriage without misunderstanding. There is no marriage without that will not come with its own kind of stress. Marriage is a kind of a yoking together. So I think, so that we don't belabor at that point too much.
Yeah.
Thank you for your powerful response. Thank you for that question.
Yeah.
Let me ask her a question. Another question is, I remember maybe you are the one that asked that question in the class. Must somebody die in a relationship because she must be committed to that relationship? You are going through a lot of stress. Then maybe the man has abandoned you, like a case that we had in the class, and gone to another and staying with another woman. And then maybe when she comes around, he's beating you, molesting you to make sure that you go, but you are still remaining there. Should you stay there and die like our Nigerian sister died in the marriage because of commitment?
At one time, in that case, you stay there and die. Because there is always a way to get something. And like I presented an end, and I was saying that there is something more than marriage. There is something more than marriage. When people marry, it is to help each other to please God. If I am with someone who will not help me to please God, and it is the one that my life is even threatened, I will run and please God, so that I have time to please Him.
Wow. Okay. Let me say that I like your approach. I like your approach and maturity in answering questions. It shows that you are really in class. Now, that means once you are committed to God, sometimes people are remaining in that relationship no longer because of the man, but because of God. It means that God can speak to you and say, leave. It will not be about what people will think. It will not be about who will say what. God, at that time, God can be able to speak to you whether you should remain there or you should leave. Mabia is sleeping. Mabia, did you get my answer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Mabia, you're laughing.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank
We are
you.
we are trying to squeeze time so that we can be able to get over tomorrow. Let me call on Dolly.
Where is she?
Madame Dolly. She was there. She was just there now.
She has
Okay. So far, so good. Can somebody ask a question? If you have a question, let me see if she can be back. In 20 minutes, she can do a presentation. And because I think the people that are remaining, I see have Annie. Annie was not feeling fine. She is in the hospital. And then we have Charlene. Annie and Charlene, they are much kind of, they work too much on the technical crew and all of that. So there are a lot of things that they have been doing that makes it impossible for them to present. So I was expecting that Dolly will be there to present tonight because almost everybody has presented. But if they are not there, let's get some appraisers, observation from senior counselors like Mabia, Pastor Evelyn, Pastor Love. I've not heard your voice tonight.
Answer a question.
Hello?
Yeah, this is Pastor Evelyn. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, there is this issue of how long people should stay in courtship before getting married. And there are some people who says that the longer the courtship, the couple are able to better know, understand each other. And when they get into the marriage, it will work better than those who take a shorter time in the courtship and enter into the marriage. So I want to know does a successful marriage depends on how long the courtship lasts or not?
Courtship teacher. Where is the courtship teacher?
Oh, I'm here. Before the teacher comes, what do we think? Oh? Because if we define the purpose of courtship, we can define it. But then experience has shown that what keeps people in marriage is their understanding. Whether they stay for long in courtship or they take 6 months to do their courtship, it is the understanding and the commitment they give towards marriage that will make the marriage successful. Because somebody that is taking 6 months is coming to learn, it's intentional. People who take longer, there is a tendency of familiarity that can breed contempt. We know that. Yes. Familiarity can breed contempt. And when it does that in a marriage, you know what? It has already died as early as, okay, we have made 10 years and let's go and do. That is not a guarantee. That's why you see a woman can do something. Then when they sign, problems, they see more of their challenges. Because sometimes they say, oh, now I'm very secure. It depends now on the purpose. Now, why are we taking it long? Why are we taking it short? Because duration too, there are factors that deal with the duration. But if you have lived your concubine, cohabiting, concubinage en français, yes, cohabiting, you will feel that you will feel that we can marry. Now you are just going to say, okay, but the real intent of marriage is when we have accepted to be married. So people can keep themselves for 10 years pretending just because they want to get married. When they succeed, you see their. To me, duration is not a guarantee. It just have to deal with what really they want and their commitment to that marriage. I rest my case, sir.
Okay. It's like asking you back, for how long have this school been? This present school that you have learned a lot of things, you are testifying a lot of things. Maybe it has just been for 1 month, 2 weeks. So to me, the duration has to be, it depends on the counselor that is preparing them for marriage. You should be in the better position to know whether those people are ripe for marriage or not. By talking with them, counseling them, you will be able to judge if they are ready for marriage. Because people can stay in courtship, because the essence of the courtship is not only to know each other, to discover each other, but is to learn about marriage. I know in the premarital counseling, you talk about their couple's goal, their couple goals, their vision. So all of those things, they count. They are the things that determine the duration. So that was just to add to what the expert on the course responded to. Pastor Evelyn, are we good?
Yes, but yes.
Okay, maybe you had another contribution to give on your experience.
You mean my experience with courtship? Pertaining to the question I asked?
Yes.
Well, for me, our courtship lasted less than a year and we got married. People were saying that was too short of a time to get married. We didn't know each other well and we were into the marriage. But there are others who spend 2, 3, 4 years. And you know that's at least enough time to get to know each other. So like that, there are things that will not be too strange in the marriage. That's why I will ask it.
Okay. And yet, that is not still a guarantee because people still hide a lot of things. So, no matter how you stay in courtship, 5 years later, there are some things you even discover about the person after 2 years, after 3 years. So, okay, we are good on that. If somebody has any other thing to say, if nobody has another thing to say, then,
I have a case that I'm dealing with.
Yes.
Maybe Marco, I'm asking questions, you people wait. Yeah, so maybe you people can help me on this counseling I'm doing with this couple. And what I noticed is that the main issue is, let me talk. Okay, so the issue I'm dealing with this couple, from what I noticed, it has to do with self-centeredness. One individual in the marriage is so much. All these children in the background. Yeah, so the man is like concerned about himself. Everything about the marriage must just be about him, what he wants, how he feels, when he wants it, and all of that. And the lady on the other end have been like, accepting it for some time, wanting the marriage to work. So whatever husband does, whenever he wants and whatever he wants to see done. Now she has gotten to the point that she's feeling that the man is not concerned about her own emotions and other aspects of her own life. It's just about him. And so she kind of complain about it. But then when I go to counsel them, I will see the exact thing from his own. That is a way of exercising his headship in the marriage. That he's the man, so on his way, not considering the woman feelings. So, so I can I go about this too, because we have had sessions, we have talked about it, and he's not willing to accommodate any aspect of the woman, but it should always be about him. And he sees it as, I am the head of the home, so the woman should just follow.
Yeah. Network is really disturbing, but I hope others got your point. That's why you see me, I've been trying to change the position. We are going to close for tonight so that we have time to rest. Tomorrow is service, tomorrow is Sunday, and I will ask Pastor Loveline, is she there? Pastor Loveline is no more there. Mabia, can you pray for us to close the class?